Hi, I'm Karen, and in this lesson, we'll be learning about how to round. To start, you need to have a good understanding of what rounding even means. Rounding simply means taking a number and then figuring out which friendly number or landmark number, which usually in math means tens, 20s, numbers that are easy to work with. So rounding simply means taking a number and then figuring out which landmark number it is closest to. For example, if you round 38 to the nearest 10, you will get 40 because 40 is the closest landmark number to 38. Let's see what I meant by that. Well, right now we have a problem. It says round 54 to the nearest 10. You have to know which number you'll be rounding. In our case right now, it's 54. We're trying to find which landmark number 54 is the closest to. Now, you have to ask yourself, right now in this problem, what landmark number am I trying to get closest to? It could be the nearest tens, hundreds, or even the thousands, 10,000s, and so on. Right now it says round 54 to the nearest 10. That means we want to figure out which multiple of 10 is the closest to 54. Now we're ready to solve. For beginners, it's nice to have a number line around. After you draw a number line and label all of its numbers, you want to ask yourself, what landmark numbers right now is 54 in between? Well, if you count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, that must be the first number, and then 60. You'll get 50 and 60. This means that 54 is in between 50 and 60. Now we have two options of number options of how we can round 54 to. But how do we know if 54 rounds to 50 or 60? Well, on your number line, you want to figure out what number is directly in between of 50 and 60. As you can see, 55 is the center. And anything on this side of the middle number rounds down to the first landmark number. Anything that comes after 55 rounds up to 60. So now we can see clearly that 54 is closer to 50 because it is less than 55, the direct middle of 50 and 60. And to make sure, try doing this. First ask yourself, what is the difference between 50 and 54? Remember, difference means the answer to a subtraction problem. What is the difference between 50 and 54? 54 and 50 have a difference of 4. So over here, you can write 4. What is the distance between 60 and 54? 54 and 60 have a difference of 6. And now, which difference is less? 4 is less than 6, which means 54 rounds down to 50. Let's try some examples. Our first problem says round 27 to the nearest 10. Before you keep watching, Pause the video and try to solve the problem by yourself. All done? Let's check our answers. We want to know what number are we rounding and in which place value it is rounding to. As you can see, we're rounding 27 and the problem wants us to round to the nearest 10. The next step is to think about which landmark numbers, in our case multiples of 10, is 27 in between. 27 is in between 20 and 30. And then we want to ask ourselves, what is the direct middle of 20 and 30? The middle of 20 and 30 is 25. Anything larger than 25 rounds up to 30, and anything less than 25 rounds down to 20. Is 27 larger or less than 25? 27 is larger than 25. So it's somewhere in the middle. And since it's larger than 25, it means that it rounds up to 30. But before we're sure with the answer, let's check. What is the distance between 20 and 27? 20 and 27 have a difference of 7. What is the difference between 30 and 27? The difference between these two numbers are 3. 7 is larger than 3. This proves that 27 is closer to 30. 27 rounded to the nearest 10 is 30. Let's try another example. Round 85 to the nearest 10. In this problem, we are rounding the number 85 to the nearest tens place. 85 is in between 80 and 90. What is the direct number in between 80 and 90? 85. But wait, we're trying to round 85 to the nearest 10. 85 is, well, 85. So, how do we round it? Well, there's a rule. The rule is that anything that is less than 85 rounds down to 80, but if the number is equal to or larger than that rounding number, it rounds up. 85 equals 85. That means it rounds up to 90. That means it rounds up to 90. The solution to this problem is 90. And here comes our last example. Round 682 to the nearest 100. Okay, so we know how to round to the nearest 10, but what do we do when the problem wants us to round to the nearest 100? When you're rounding, you first take rounding number 682 and then think about which hundreds, because it's asking for the nearest hundreds, is 682 in between of. 682 is in between 600, the next 100, 700. The direct middle of 600 and 700 is 650. And our number is 682. Do we round up or down? You can see that 682 is greater than 650. That means that 682 rounds up to 700. Here is another solution. Whenever you want to round a number to a place value, you first take the number 682 and then look to the place value right of the place value that they're asking you to round to. They're asking us to round to the nearest hundred, so we want to look at the next smallest place value, the tens place. But what does looking at the next place value help us with rounding? Well, if the digit in the next place value is 5 or greater than 5, we round up. If the digit in the next place value is less than 5, we round down. Right now we have the digit 8 in the tens place. Is 8 greater, equal to, or less than 5? 8 is greater than 5, which means we round up to 700. And to prove this, it also works on the number line. So our answer is 700. Thank you for watching this video, and if you're new to our channel, please make sure to subscribe down below. We'll see you next time!